I'm your host, Mom Tana, and I am here to give you a couple extra details before you watch the video, so please listen carefully. The focus of my series is bringing awareness to the women's experience in gaming, mainly talking about Overwatch, but also acknowledging that this is not just an Overwatch problem. This problem spreads on every single video game that you play and also most online spaces. So I think it is time that we talk about it. And I'll be sitting down with your favorite creators discussing how they navigate toxicity in Overwatch, as well as gender biases, double standards, and even audience expectations. That being said, I do want to include a trigger warning on a few different topics, including, but not limited to, rape threats, death threats, sexual harassment, and just vulgar language in general. If you might be sensitive to any of this, please do watch with caution. Hello gamers, welcome to my brand new series called Overwatch Diva Deep Dives, and I am your host, Mom Tana, and today I have...
Hello, I am Kryrina.
And we are going to be getting into the very raw and unfiltered facts about being a daily FPS streamer. But honestly, I know it's called Overwatch Diva Deep Dives, but this spreads to about every single video game because this is a very common problem that every woman in gaming and honestly online faces. So I want to hit the heavy topics and, help people realize that this is a daily struggle and to not do it. And to also offer a space that if anybody is dealing with this and you don't feel like you have anywhere that you belong, that you do. And there are people on the internet for you and you just gotta find them. So, hi, we're gonna get into it.
Hi, I'm Kryrina. My pronouns are she, her. I'm 27-year-old and I'm a bunny VTuber. I've been gaming since about the age of 6 or 7 probably, my first console being a PlayStation 2. So I've been doing content creation since about 2018. I started on Twitch and then I started branching out to TikTok a couple years later. My main game is Overwatch, my highest rank being Masters 5 in Tank, but I also dabble a little in Fortnite, Dead by Daylight, Minecraft, and The First Descendant.
Oh, she a gamer. She a gamer.
I'm a gamer.
You've been gaming for years now. What made you get into streaming and what is your long-term goal from content creation?
Honestly, ever since I started up my stream for the first time, everything kind of clicked for me. Like, it was the only thing I could see myself doing long-term. I just fell in love with it. Like, I loved entertaining people and being the reason that someone laughed that day, and it just led me on this incredible journey where I met some of the most lovely people that I still talk to today. Amazing, awesome people. And I grew up watching creators like Markiplier and like Jacksepticeye, and they just got me through so many dark times throughout my childhood. I just loved the idea of like being that for someone else. Like just making people's day a little bit better. Yeah.
And as we were saying in the intro, toxicity is absolutely rampant, whether you are just on online spaces or even gaming on DBD, on Overwatch, on Valorant, on Fortnite, literally any game you can name. There are probably some toxicities going on in either the text chat or comms. So I absolutely want to talk about that today and we will be getting into it. How common do you personally come across toxicity on Overwatch?
On a good day, at least once per gaming session. Usually it's about once every few games. Sometimes it's even more frequent than that. It's honestly just way too common and, in my opinion, way too normalized.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And do you feel like the toxicity can differ based on like who they're talking to or like what type of person's being targeted?
Absolutely. I notice a huge difference when it's like a man being flamed versus when it's a woman. Mainly being that when a woman is being targeted, the insults tend to become a lot more weirdly personal. Like women get attacked for things like their gender, their weight, we get told we sound fat, to get back on Mercy, to get back in the kitchen, or just like straight up death and rape threats. and it's honestly disgusting. I've noticed when it's toxicity between men, it tends to just be like more benign insults, like about the game, like telling them they suck or telling them to hit their shots or whatever. Just for some reason, when a woman is being targeted, it seems just to be on a much more personal level. Like it goes beyond just the game.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so when you mentioned, rape and death threats and very aggressive stuff like that, how do you respond to like their toxicity in the moment? And what advice would you give to people that might not know how to deal with it or how to stand up for themselves in general?
I usually just try to come up with like a witty comeback or response to kind of humiliate them or make them feel silly. And it's surprisingly effective. I feel like a lot of the time they don't really expect us to return their energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it catches them off guard when we get on the mic and actually throw it back at them. I know a lot of the time women get told to just like ignore them or mute them, but in my experience, this doesn't make much of a difference. And sometimes it even makes the problem worse because their egos can't handle being ignored, so they will start saying like more outlandish things or even just start outright throwing the game to try to like provoke a reaction from us. I've had a lot of women from my community specifically reach out and thank me for my content and tell me how it inspired them to start standing up to toxic men, and how they've had really positive results doing so. So yeah, I would strongly recommend more women to do the same.
No, yeah, I absolutely agree. It's actually, I think that is one of the funniest things when people spend the majority of your game like shit talking you, and then the second you say anything on the mic, they literally do not speak for the rest of the round. They don't speak, they don't text, nothing. And I laugh so hard every time because it's so typical. It's so funny.
Yeah.
No, you are absolutely, that's so valid. We touched on how men and women get treated differently in VC based on whether it's their performance or just how they speak or anything like that. What double standards have you personally encountered as a woman that you feel is typically overlooked in mainstream discussions?
I've seen a lot of other female content creators talk about this too, where it feels like as women, we're almost not allowed to have bad days. There's like this immense pressure on us to perform well because if we don't, we feel like we're kind of feeding into the gender stereotypes or letting down our communities in some way. And it's like such this ridiculous concept, like one misplay or one bad gaming day doesn't automatically mean that women are bad at games. But the reality is that things like this get used against the female gaming community all the time. Just as a whole, even just posting goofy gaming moments where like I made a silly mistake or I fell off the map, I'll get comments from men saying like, this is why women don't belong in games, or like that's what you get for leaving the kitchen, and just stupid toxic comments like that. And the sad reality is that this is not something that men ever have to worry about or even consider. Like no one's gonna see a clip of a man playing badly and be like, this is why men shouldn't play video games. That's just not something that happens to them. And it's just such a ridiculous double standard for women. I feel like it's a weight a lot of us women gamers carry, and we really shouldn't have to.
Absolutely. No, I definitely agree with all of that. Yeah, I too also, like, whenever I post the meme compilation videos, like, I get the kitchen comments and just the sandwich comments and typical, it's just all repeated stuff. Also, can we talk about how the insults have literally been the same since, like, 2015? Like...
Literally, even before that, like,
no, dead ass.
I feel like a lot of the insults are from like the 1990s. Can we at least please come up with some better insults? Something unique, interesting, like
get creative.
Please. I'm tired of the kitchen comments.
Absolutely. No, I've been hearing that shit since I was like 12. Please get creative with it. I beg you.
Exactly.
So when it comes to toxicity, we are discussing a lot about the community of Overwatch and what we encounter on a daily basis. But that does not disinclude the developers and the platforms of these games, because I think they are just as involved in the conversation. If not, they should be, right? Do you feel that the developers and platforms are doing enough to address toxicity, especially towards women? Why or why not?
Honestly, no. If anything, I'm seeing more and more instances of women getting punished for standing up against the toxicity and sexism that they're being subjected to, with no action being taken against the actual aggressors. It's happened to me numerous times. Where I've reported someone for being outright toxic and nothing happens to them, and I see others just getting punished for the most ridiculous, like, benign things. And I even see report systems being weaponized against innocent players. So Blizzard's report system needs a major rework, because more and more I'm just seeing Blizzard fail to punish the actual perpetrators of toxicity, instead punishing the players that their system is supposed to be protecting. Until major change is made, the player base is going to be continued to be driven away by the rampant sexism and toxicity, and it just breaks my heart to see.
Absolutely. No, I fully agree with that. Especially their report system needs to be re-updated, and honestly, they need to hire some workers to start listening to the recordings that they say that they record for the VCs, because like how you were talking about the weaponized reports and stuff like that, like I definitely agree with that. I've literally gotten banned on Overwatch for defending myself to a man like fucking harassing me all game, and I was banned for like 2 weeks because of it. It's absolutely bonkers.
It's way too common.
I have a very hateful relationship with that report system.
We all do. We all do.
So what do you think the developers could do when it comes to just addressing the community beside like the report system? Do you think there's anything that they could say or do in support of how the women on their game are treated?
I definitely think they could speak up more and make more public statements about how they don't condone this type of behavior. I see a lot of silence on Blizzard's end when it comes to topics like this, and I would like to see them address the player base more and really just crack down on this kind of behavior from their player base.
Absolutely. I think transparency beyond just what to expect from like game patches would do so well. And following up on what devs could do differently, what do you think the Overwatch community could do to help reduce toxicity and maybe go be better moving forward?
Honestly, the biggest thing is just like, if you see something, say something. You don't have to be the one being targeted by the toxicity to speak up. And just let them know it's not okay. Like, I see way too many people go quiet when someone starts being toxic in chat and just kind of leave the target to deal with it themselves. When in my experience, 80% of the time someone else speaks up in chat against the aggressor, they stop because they feel like they're being outnumbered. So yeah, just don't be a bystander. We have to stop normalizing this type of behavior.
Public
that's the
shame.
only way we're going to shift the norm and achieve a better gaming experience.
Absolutely. No, especially if you are a man and you are hearing this go down in your VC, as much as I hate the absolute double standard, if you are a man, do not sit and just listen to someone get absolutely shit on, especially if they have a feminine voice, a feminine presenting voice. Like, don't, like, I very often see men just kind of like join in or just be silent because that's their homie or it's just another dude. And that, like, silence is compliancy, in my opinion, in situations like that. So yeah, stand up, defend yourself. Like they said, it does not matter if it's at you. Yeah. Like, absolutely say something, because they really, like, honestly, half the people that talk shit on Overwatch are, for lack of a better word, pussies. Like, they really don't have anything to say after you stand up to them. So, like, just say something. And if you don't know
Very
what to say, bark at them. Bark at them. Do it.
That always works. Yes. I mean, the sad reality of it is that, like, a lot of these toxic players, they kind of do it for the approval of, like, the other men in the lobby. So, yeah, your words hold a lot more weight than women's to these individuals a lot of the time. So if you stand up and say something, it's a lot more likely they're going to take you seriously.
Do you have any advice or anything for possibly any women that might be wanting to get into streaming, but might be scared of, what we deal with on a daily basis, or even might want to get into Overwatch, but they just don't want to deal with ECs or the text chats or the toxicity in general? Do you have any advice for them?
Don't let the toxicity and the sexism discourage you. You are capable of doing anything that a man can do. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Yeah, just, I mean, if you're someone that's pretty mentally sensitive and toxicity really gets to you, there's always the option to just turn off chats. So you don't have to be subjected to that stuff. But honestly, hey, if you have the fight in you, feel free to give them the same energy back, because it's effective a majority of the time. You would be surprised. Yeah, just don't let toxic people stop you from following and chasing your dreams. You're unstoppable, girl. You got this.
Period. Clock it.
Period. Girl, queen, pussy, boss.
Period. And don't you ever forget. And with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed what we had to say. I hope it may have opened your eyes, or even just shown you that there is very much a space for you, no matter how anyone might make you feel on the internet. You are always welcome somewhere, and there will always be space, right? So if you liked the video, I would super appreciate you like and subscribe, and make sure you go follow Cryrina on TikTok and Twitch. I will put their users on the screen here. And I super appreciate the support. If you know anybody that you want to see on Overwatch Diva Deep Dives, comment their name and tag them, and I will be reaching out to more creators soon. But with that, that is it. So I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye!